Welcome back, General Hospital fans. Get ready for another explosive ride through Port Charles, where shocking secrets, dangerous betrayals, and life-changing twists are about to shake everyone's world. The drama is hotter than ever, so buckle up and let's dive into today's biggest GH bombshells. I remember when Ethan first arrived in town, that charming but troubled young man with a complicated past, and now here we are watching him fight with everything he has to protect this innocent child. It feels both familiar and refreshingly new at the same time. What strikes me most is how far Ethan is willing to go for Phoebe's safety. We have seen him switch that DNA sample at the hospital, taking one from an old unsolved case at the PCPD to make it look like he is the biological father. It was a bold, desperate move, and I have to admit I both admire and worry about it. On one hand, it shows a father's love, even if it is not by blood. On the other, tampering with evidence like that is bound to bring serious trouble crashing down. I keep asking myself, how long can he keep this secret before everything unravels? The answer, from what we are seeing, is not very long at all. The latest developments have raised the stakes even higher. Ethan is not Phoebe's real father, and that revelation is coming sooner than many of us expected. Instead, the true father appears to be someone from Ethan's past, a genuine enemy who carries a dark history. This twist makes perfect sense when you think about the unsolved case file he stole from. It ties everything together in a way that feels organic to the show's long memory. I have always appreciated how General Hospital brings back connections from years ago, and this one feels particularly personal. Ethan is protecting Phoebe not just from strangers, but from the shadow of his own history. That adds such emotional weight to every scene he shares with her. What really moved me was Ethan's recent confession about Ava. After all the chaos, he finally admitted that Ava is the last remaining relative Phoebe has in Port Charles. This changes everything in the most heartfelt way. It turns out Phoebe is actually the daughter of Julian, which explains so much about the dangers surrounding her and why Ethan has been so fiercely determined. Julian's legacy has always been complicated, full of love and pain mixed together, and now that bloodline is continuing through this precious little girl, I found myself tearing up thinking about it. Ava stepping into this role feels right, even if it is complicated. She has her own history of mistakes and redemption, and helping protect Phoebe could be one of her most meaningful acts in years. I have been thinking a lot about why this storyline resonates so strongly with longtime viewers like me. We have watched these characters grow, fall, and rise again for so many years. Ethan's determination to keep Phoebe safe, even by changing DNA results and risking his freedom, shows a depth we did not always see in him before. It proves that people can change when a child's life is on the line. At the same time, I wonder if he is repeating some of the same errors his own family made in the past. Protecting someone by hiding the truth rarely works forever in Port Charles. The show has taught us that lesson many times, and I suspect we are about to learn it again in dramatic fashion. The upcoming shocks promise to be intense, but also full of heart. Will the real father's identity destroy the fragile safety Ethan has built? I believe it will create immediate danger, but it may also force alliances we never expected. Ava helping Ethan escape when things get too hot feels exactly like the kind of twist that keeps us coming back. She has always been a survivor, and her connection to Phoebe through Julian gives her a powerful reason to get involved. I can already picture the tense scenes ahead, with Ethan on the run but never far from the people who matter. One thing I particularly enjoy is how the writers are balancing the suspense with genuine emotion. This is not just about crime and DNA tests. It is about a man who lost Delilah but refuses to lose her daughter. It is about legacy, family ties that refuse to stay buried, and the way love can push us to do things we never thought possible. I have seen many storylines over the years, but this one stands out because it feels so personal. Phoebe represents hope in the middle of all the danger, and I find myself rooting for her safety more than I have for any character in a long time. Of course, nothing in General Hospital stays simple for long. The new troubles coming from that altered DNA test are already building. Someone at the PCPD or the hospital is bound to notice inconsistencies soon. When that happens, Ethan will have some very difficult conversations ahead. Yet I believe he will face them with the same courage he has shown so far. His growth from a somewhat reckless young man to this protective figure has been wonderful to watch. It reminds me why I have stayed loyal to the show through all its changes. I keep wondering what Julian would think if he could see this. His daughter being protected by Ethan and potentially raised with Ava's involvement creates such a beautiful, full-circle moment. It honors the past while moving the story forward. That is the magic of a soap opera that has lasted this long. It remembers its history and uses it to create fresh drama that still feels true to the characters we love. As we head into these next episodes, I am filled with anticipation. The danger will increase, revelations will shake foundations, and hearts will be tested. But I trust that the writers will give us moments of tenderness too, especially between Ethan, Ava, and little Phoebe. Family in Port Charles has always been worth fighting for, and this storyline proves it once again. I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds, and I know many of you longtime fans feel the same warm excitement mixed with nervous energy that I do. There's something deeply satisfying about watching Ethan try so hard to bury the truth for Phoebe's sake, only to realize that some truths have a way of healing even as they hurt. This may be one of those times. The connection to Julian and Ava's role as the last close relative adds layers of complexity that I am thoroughly enjoying. It makes every decision heavier and every potential reunion or confrontation more meaningful. I remember how Julian's presence always brought a mix of passion, danger, and unexpected tenderness to Port Charles. Learning that Phoebe carries his bloodline explains so much about the shadows surrounding the child. Ethan has been working tirelessly to keep her safe, even risking his freedom by tampering with evidence from that old, unsolved PCPD case. But now, Ava knows the truth, and she is ready to take action. Watching her prepare to shield her granddaughter has brought back so many memories of the fierce loyalty she has shown to family over the years. It is a beautiful, full-circle moment. Ava has made mistakes, plenty of them, but this protective instinct feels like one of her strongest redemptions yet. I find myself cheering for her quietly, hoping she can provide the stability that Phoebe needs. Of course, with every step forward comes new complications. The altered DNA results are already creating fresh troubles that are building like a storm over Port Charles. Ethan thought he could bury the past, but secrets like this have a way of surfacing when we least expect it. I keep asking myself, how long before someone at the hospital or the police department notices the inconsistencies? The answer seems to be coming sooner rather than later, and I suspect it will force everyone into some very difficult choices. Yet that is what makes General Hospital so special. It never lets its characters off easily, but it also rewards them with chances to grow. What truly has me on the edge of my seat is the hint that Julian himself may be returning. After everything we have been through with his character, the idea of him coming back feels both thrilling and a little frightening. If Julian returns, it will not be quietly. It could shake the very foundations of the safety Ethan has tried to build for Phoebe. Imagine the emotions that would flood Port Charles if Julian learned he has a daughter he never knew about. I have my own theories about how this might play out. Perhaps Julian's return is tied to the danger Ethan has been sensing all along. It would make perfect sense given the unsolved case file and the enemy from Ethan's past who appears to be Phoebe's biological father. This connection is brilliant storytelling, linking generations and old rivalries in one powerful thread. And speaking of old enemies, the latest developments strongly suggest another villain from the past is about to resurface. This new haunting presence adds such a layer of suspense that I can barely wait for the next episodes. I have always loved how the show brings back familiar faces at just the right moment to stir up trouble. It keeps the story feeling alive and connected to its rich history. This particular villain's return could explain the growing threats around Phoebe and why Ethan has been so determined to hide the truth. It is not just about protecting a child from strangers. It is about shielding her from ghosts that refuse to stay buried. I personally believe this twist honors the show's tradition of long-term consequences while giving us fresh drama that feels urgent and personal. Ava's role in all of this is particularly compelling. Knowing Phoebe is her granddaughter through Julian has ignited something powerful in her. She is taking decisive action to safeguard the little girl, even if it means standing beside Ethan as danger closes in. I admire that strength. Ava has walked through fire before, and now she is ready to do it again for family. It makes me reflect on how family ties in Port Charles are never simple, but they are always worth fighting for. Some viewers might question whether Ava is ready for this responsibility after her own complicated history, but I see it differently. This could be exactly what she needs to continue her journey toward peace. Watching her support Ethan and protect Phoebe feels right, even as it promises more intense confrontations ahead. The new obsessions and emotional layers emerging from this storyline have me deeply engaged. Ethan's confession about Ava being Phoebe's closest remaining relative opened the door to all these revelations. Now, with Julian potentially returning and an old enemy looming, the tension is rising beautifully. I keep wondering what will happen when the truth about Phoebe's real father fully emerges. Will it destroy the fragile bonds being built, or will it ultimately strengthen them? I lean toward the hopeful side, but I know General Hospital will take us on a roller coaster first. The writers are balancing danger with genuine heart, and that is exactly what longtime fans like me crave. There is something profoundly moving about seeing Ethan fight so hard for a child who is not biologically his. His love for Phoebe and his willingness to do whatever it takes reminds me of the best qualities in many of the show's heroes over the years. At the same time, Ava's growing involvement brings a new warmth to the narrative. The idea that Julian's daughter could bring together former adversaries in protection and care is the kind of storytelling that keeps me loyal after all these decades. It proves that even in the middle of darkness, love and family can create light. As we look ahead, I am filled with anticipation for the shocks to come. The troubles stemming from that changed DNA test will only intensify. Revelations about the true father will shake everyone involved. Julian's possible return and the reappearance of another villain will raise the stakes dramatically. Yet through it all, I believe we will see moments of tenderness, especially as Ava steps fully into her role as protector. Phoebe represents hope amid the chaos, and I find myself rooting for her safety with all my heart. This storyline is a masterclass in why I have stayed with General Hospital for so long. It respects the past while pushing the characters into new, emotionally rich territory. Ethan's journey, Ava's determination, and the shadows of Julian and old enemies create a perfect storm of drama, suspense, and heart. I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds in the coming weeks. The danger will grow, alliances will be tested, and love will be put to the ultimate challenge. For those of us who have followed these characters through every high and low, this feels like classic Port Charles magic.